So coming to the animal kingdom, which is a really vast kingdom, about over 1 million species of animals have been documented till now. How is this classification done? There are lots of bases to classify the animals. So what exactly is the basis of classification in the animal kingdom? So we are going to discuss a few of them. The first one being the level of organization. So how much or to what extent the organism is organized. That is the first factor people usually look at when they want to classify. Though all of the members of the kingdom are multicellular, not each one of them exhibits the same kind of organization of cells. It differs from sponges to higher animals like lions and humans. There is division of labor among the cells. In some kinds, for example, in coelentrates, arrangement of cells is more complex. Some animals, they have a tissue level of organization, some have the organ level, for example, in platyhelminthes, while in others you have a proper system level of organization. So organ systems is there, tissue system is there. Again, it depends on how the circulatory system is there. For example, it can be open circulatory system in which blood is given out of the heart and the cells and tissues directly come in contact with that. Or it can be closed type. For example, in humans where blood is circulated through vessels like arteries, veins and little capillaries. So that is the first factor. The other one is symmetry. So symmetry can also differ. Some kinds of animals, for example sponges, they do not have any symmetry. That means any plane that passes through the center does not divide them into equal parts. While in some cases you have radial symmetry, when you have the body divided into two identical halves through any plane that passes through the central axis. In some cases, the body can be divided into an identical left and identical right half, but only in one plane. That is called bilateral. So you can have asymmetry, or you can have radial symmetry, or you can have bilateral, which is only in one plane. This is in any plane. This is in any one plane. Additionally, another factor is the organization. It can be diploblastic or it can be triploblastic. When animals in which cells are arranged into two embryonic layers, that means the ectoderm and endoderm, those are called diploblastics. For example, coelentrates. But there are other animals in which differentiation is further into a third layer. That includes human beings as well. That is triploblastic. That means apart from ecto and endoderm, there is one more layer called a mesoderm. So let's explain that to the help of diagrams. So in case of diploblastic, you will just have a central cavity. After that, you are going to have the endoderm, which is this part that I'm drawing right now. And then you have a mesoglia. And then you have the ectoderm. So this part, the zigzag, where I'm just coloring zigzag, is called the ectoderm. So two different layers around this central cavity. This is diploblastic. What happens in triploblastic is you have the central cavity, then you have the endoderm, then you have the mesoderm. So endoderm, mesoderm, and then you have the ectoderm. Three different kinds of layers are there. So that is the difference between diploblastic, which is only in some animals, like in coelentrates, and triploblastic, which is there in all the other higher forms, including chordates, such as human beings. The next category or the next factor on which the differentiation depends is the coelom, which is the central cavity. Coelom is basically the body cavity which is lined by the mesoderm, Animals that have the coelom are called coelomates. So they have a coelom that is central cavity. If you draw it, it looks like this. So this cavity that is filled with dots, this is the coelom. And this is the outer part, is all the layers of cells that are present. The examples of coelomates are annelids, like earthworms, mollusks, arthropods, that is the insects, echinoderms, hemichordates, and chordates, that includes us humans. The second category is going to be pseudocoelomates, where the body cavity is not lined by mesoderm, but the mesoderm is present as different pouches. So that is the central area, and mesoderm is present in separate pouches. And this is how the layer looks like. So this empty place, which is again dotted in this rough diagram. Now remember, these are rough diagrams. If you're giving exams, you will probably need to draw better diagrams with cells, individual cells. Now this is called a pseudocoelom because it's nothing but a false coelom. So these animals are called pseudocoelomates. The example is Australopithecus. And in some kinds of organisms, coelom is not at all present. So you just have a cavity surrounded by the layers and there is no coelom. So those are known as acoelomates. The example is Platyhelminthes. The fifth factor that gives a difference in how the plant species are organized, the animal species are organized, is the segmentation. How the body is segmented. Now, in some animals, it is divided into different segments. And for example, in humans, different parts of the body have different organs. But in some, there is serial repetition of at least some organs. For example, in the earthworm, there is a pattern called metamerism. Metameric segmentation means each segment has the same composition as the other segment. That is for most of the time. So that is called metamerism, which is there in earthworms. Another factor is absence or presence of a notochord, which is a rod-like structure formed on the dorsal side during the embryonic development. Animals with the notochord are called chordates, and the animals who do not have the notochord are called non-chordates, for example, sponges. So let's get started with the actual classification on animals. Now, the broad classification is on the basis of these main 6 features that we have just discussed. So let's see how the organization is done. The kingdom that we are discussing is Animalia, which, as I told you before, consists of all multicellular organisms. The levels of organization are 2. One is at a cellular level, one is at a tissue or the organ or the organ system level. Organ system level. So that is the 2 kinds of variations. These ones are further divided into 2 based on their symmetry. They can be either having radial symmetry or bilateral symmetry. I hope you remember what was radial. Radial means through any axis it can be divided into 2 equal halves, and bilateral means only through one particular axis. Now further, the bilateral are divided into 3. Into acoelomates, that basically do not have a body cavity, ones with a false coelom called pseudocoelomates, and finally with a true coelom, that is coelomates. Now this is on the basis of body cavity. On the basis of cellular level, we have one particular phylum, which is Porifera, only one. On the basis of radial, you have two phylums. One is Coelenterata, which is also known as Cnidaria, and the other one is Ctenophora or Ctenophora. On the basis of without body cavity, the acoelomates, they are having one phylum, Platyhelminthes. On the basis of pseudocoelomate, you have one, that is Aeschyleminthes. And on the basis of coelomates, you have 6 more phylums. So I'm going to write in really short over here. It's going to be Annelida. It's going to be Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata as well. So I'm going to write in short: Echinodermata, Hemichordata, and Chordata. Alright, so let's just revise once again. On the basis of levels of organization, you can divide them into cellular, and cellular only consists of one phylum, that is Porifera. On the basis of levels, on the basis of symmetry, you can divide them into radial, which is Coelenterata, Cnidarians, and Ctenophora, or you can divide them into bilateral, which is further divided according to body cavity into acoelomates, that is Platyhelminthes, pseudocoelomates, that is Aeschyleminthes, and coelomates, that has 6 further phylums: Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata, and Chordata. So let's suppose you have to give the example of human beings. What are human beings? We come under Chordata. So we are under the kingdom of Animalia. We have a tissue, organ system level of organization. We have bilateral symmetry, and we do have a body cavity that is proper and true. That is why we are coelomates, we are bilateral, and we have an organ system, and we are obviously multicellular or animals. So that is basically how the division is done. It's best if you can copy this kind of chart and maintain it somewhere, or draw it once and keep understanding how we are developing into different categories one by one.